It began as one of those rare, peaceful suburban afternoons that almost feels staged, like something out of a commercial. Sun low in the sky, kids laughing as they ran back and forth across the lawn, the smell of food on the grill drifting through the air, and neighbors pretending not to notice each other while secretly enjoying the sense of normalcy. My family was finally together. Phones put away, stress forgotten for a few hours. We weren't being loud, we weren't blocking the street, we weren't breaking any rules. We were simply existing happily in our own space. And apparently that alone was enough to trigger what happened next. Out of nowhere, she stormed down the sidewalk with purpose, heels clicking, clipboard tucked tightly under her arm, phone already raised and recording. Everyone in the neighborhood knew her, even if they avoided saying her name out loud. She was the HOA Karen, the self-appointed enforcer who treated the rule book like a weapon and neighbors like criminals. Without greeting anyone, without a single polite word, she stopped at the edge of my driveway and announced that our gathering was a serious violation. Her voice was sharp, rehearsed, and loud enough for my kids to hear every word. She started listing accusations: music disturbance, improper grill placement, unauthorized use of outdoor space, even claiming our children's chalk drawings on the sidewalk were vandalism. I tried to respond calmly, explaining that everything we were doing was permitted and well within HOA guidelines, but she cut me off instantly, raising her hand like a traffic cop and telling me to stop talking. That's when she crossed from annoying into dangerous. She stepped closer, invading my personal space, pointing her finger at my chest and telling me that if I didn't shut the party down immediately, she would make an example out of my family. She mentioned fines so high we'd wished we never moved here, legal action that would drain us dry, and even hinted at calling authorities to escalate the situation. My wife's face went pale. My kids stopped laughing and huddled behind us, confused and scared. Karen noticed, and instead of backing off, she leaned into it, lowering her voice just enough to sound sinister and saying, "Maybe your kids will learn what happens when parents don't follow rules." That sentence alone felt like a punch to the chest. Around us, curtains shifted and blinds cracked open. Neighbors were watching, but no one dared step outside. This was how it always went: Karen bullying people in public, counting on fear and embarrassment to keep them silent. I told her firmly to leave my property and stop threatening my family. She laughed, an actual laugh, and said, "You don't get to tell me anything. The HOA runs this neighborhood, and I speak for them." The confidence in her voice wasn't earned. It was borrowed from years of unchecked behavior. She truly believed she was untouchable. What she didn't know, what she couldn't possibly imagine, was that months earlier I had decided I was done watching neighbors get pushed around. I had seen elderly residents fined over trash cans placed minutes too early, families harassed over paint shades that were approved years ago, and single parents reduced to tears during HOA meetings while Karen sat back smirking. Quietly, without drama, I started attending every meeting. I read every bylaw, every amendment, every clause about board conduct and homeowner rights. I listened more than I spoke. I built relationships. I documented patterns. While Karen was drunk on authority, I was learning how fragile her power actually was. As she continued threatening us, I calmly pulled out my phone and began recording, clearly asking her to repeat what she had just said. That's when her tone shifted slightly, not softer, just more reckless. She doubled down, saying she would personally see to it that we were fined, harassed, and pushed out of the neighborhood if we didn't fall in line. She said she had friends in the board, connections, and experience destroying people who thought they were special. Every word was captured, every threat, every smug expression. I told her, slowly and clearly, that she should stop speaking and leave immediately. She rolled her eyes and said, "You can't do anything to me." That was the moment, the exact moment, when the balance of power flipped. I looked her straight in the eyes and said, "Actually, I can. And I am." I explained, right there in front of my family and half the neighborhood, that I was the newly appointed HOA president, voted in unanimously during the last meeting after multiple formal complaints were filed against her.
I reminded her threatening homeowners, especially in front of children, was a direct violation of HOA ethics and conduct policy. Her face drained of color. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. Suddenly, the clipboard shook in her hands. She tried to laugh it off, claiming it was a joke, a misunderstanding, that she was just passionate about keeping the community orderly. But it didn't matter anymore. Neighbors stepped outside now, emboldened by the shift they could feel in the air. A few of them spoke up, confirming that they had experienced the same threats, the same intimidation. Others pulled out their phones, recording not her authority, but her collapse. I informed her, calmly and professionally, that she was immediately suspended from any HOA-related activity pending a formal disciplinary hearing. I told her she was not to contact my family again in any capacity, and any further harassment would result in legal action. She gathered her papers in silence, avoiding eye contact, her earlier confidence completely erased. The woman who had terrorized the block for years walked away smaller than she arrived, her power gone in an instant. That night, I sat with my kids and explained what had happened in terms they could understand. I told them that bullies rely on fear, not strength, and the best way to stand up to them is to stay calm, know the rules, and protect what matters. At the next HOA meeting, Karen tried to defend herself, but the evidence was overwhelming. Videos, written complaints, witness statements, and a long history of abuse. She was officially removed from her position, fined for misconduct, and barred from representing the HOA ever again. After that, everything changed. Neighbors started talking again. Kids played without parents worrying about complaints. HOA meetings became about improving the community instead of punishing it. Karen had threatened my family thinking we were powerless. What she didn't realize was that the person she tried to intimidate was the one holding the rule book and the authority this whole time.